As some of you are aware, I've done a couple of prepper myth-busting videos before, and if you've ever wondered, I get those right out of the thousands and thousands of comments from this channel. Today, I will be looking at 10 more myths that may get a prepper in trouble if they didn't know better. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started, in no particular order. Number 1. It's easy to start a fire from scratch. No, it isn't. Fortunately, most preppers have a variety of ways to start a fire, lighters, matches, ferro rods, etc. But take that away, and most people lack the skill to go really old school and, say, rub sticks together to generate a fire out of friction. It's actually very taxing and time-consuming and requires more skill than most would think without having tried it, particularly under conditions that aren't very ideal. Number 2. Hygiene isn't important. There are a lot of preppers out there who believe that hygiene products and toiletries are more for convenience than necessity, and a waste of money and space. Unfortunately, there could be nothing further from the truth where hygiene is concerned. Humans are very susceptible to illness, and good hygiene helps prevent this. Number 3. Gear compensates for skill. Right to the point. This is not true. All the fancy expensive gear may be helpful and may look pretty, but a well-trained prepper or survivalist can get along without any of it. Number 4. I can live off the land. Listen, just because you can identify a few edible plants doesn't mean you can scavenge an endless supply of meals. And just because a plant is edible doesn't mean that it has any good nutritional value. Being able to regularly locate and identify proper edible plants is a skill that requires more than studying a book. Also, keep in mind that many other people will be foraging as well, which makes locating such plants more difficult than it may seem. Number 5. When there is no water available, I can drink urine. This is one I've talked about before, and it's a major myth that persists to this day, even among groups of people who should know better. And Bear Grylls, you're not helping. You should never drink your urine. The amount of water that your body needs to process the waste in the urine is more than the amount of water you're taking in from the urine, and you're dehydrating yourself even further. Now, you could process urine if you had a good filtration system, but drinking it straight? Never do that. Number 6. Everyone will pull together when shit hits the fan. I think this one is more wishful thinking than anything else. Granted, there are people and even communities who may pull together during a disaster. This does happen, but not so often and on such a grand scale as you may think. The longer the disaster goes on, the worse people will get until they reach the level of mob rule. And God forbid that they know you have supplies. Number 7, tying in with number 6, when shit hits the fan, friends and family will finally get on board. All of us have friends or family that we wish were on board, but they think the whole concept of prepping is foolish. And we all like to think that when things get bad that the bulb will finally come on and they will realize we were right the whole time, and they'll get in line. Unfortunately, that line may end up being a bread line, and you'll be stuck with a bunch of freeloaders who make things even harder. Number 8. Alcohol will warm you up. Believe it or not, there are still a lot of people who believe this. Sure, you get a flush of heat when you take a drink because the alcohol opens up the blood vessels near the surface of your skin, creating surface heat, but that's heat moving towards the surface where it will escape the body. So at a time when you need your core temperature up, alcohol will pull it away and also dehydrate you. Number 9. You should rub frost-bitten body parts. The idea here is that the friction of rubbing will bring the heat and inspire circulation into the frost-bitten extremities. Right to the point, this does not work, and in fact will cause even further damage to the tissue, leading you closer to the possibility of amputation. Keep in mind that frostbite is when the tissue is frozen. This means ice inside the tissue. You don't want to rub this. Warm, frost-bitten areas slowly and carefully. And number 10, if bitten by a snake, suck out the venom. Again, this is a very bad idea. Sucking out the wound actually increases the risk of spreading the venom into the bloodstream and increases the risk of infection, and likely won't remove very much, if any, of the venom. Furthermore, a tourniquet can likely cause a lot of damage around a bitten area. Keep the bitten area low, below the heart. Keep the victim warm and get treatment quickly, but no sucking and no tourniquets. And you just knew I had one more for you, didn't you? Call it number 11 if you will. Gold and silver will be the new currency when shit hits the fan. Now, I'm not saying these won't have any value. Historically speaking, gold and silver always bounce back, but it's going to be a while before there is any sort of standard. I wouldn't go trading away my gold or silver right away when a disaster strikes. Like I said, historically speaking, eventually gold and silver will come back. They always do, just not right away. Keep that in mind. So I hope you found this list helpful. If you have any tips you would like to add to the list, feel free to post them in the comment section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up, always appreciated. Share it if you can and subscribe if you are new. Check out some of the other videos, you may find something helpful to you. And as always, stay frosty folks, and thanks for watching.